Last week I was asked a question at our Wayland fundraiser. A lot of Bills fans there raising money for the 100 Holes, which is a week from today. And just talking to somebody, one of the questions I got was, what do you worry about with the Bills? What's the thing that worries you? Mm-hmm. My answer is a bit of a cop-out, but I'll tell you what it was. I said I worry about the competition. Mm-hmm. Because the Bills are going to be good. There's no doubt about it. You could say you worry about health. Everybody's going to worry about health. Mm-hmm. Ryan Clark yesterday tweeted if the Ravens stay healthy, they're going to win the whole thing. Yeah. Maybe that's right. Maybe if the Bills stay healthy, they win the whole thing. Maybe if the Chiefs, maybe if the Eagles, anybody, Commanders, Lions, right? Health is important. But the thing I worry about with the Bills, there's really, like I said, it's a cop-out. My answer is the competition. Because the Bills are buttoned up. They're a good operation. They re-sign their own ahead of time. They save money that way. They identify players. They've got a good culture. They've got so many things going for them that there's not any debate that they're a top-class organization and they're great.
Right.
But the question becomes, are they in any one year going to be greater than their opposition? And not like Jair Alexander puts them over the top, but the Bills had a high-scoring offense last year, and kind of, Brandon Beane came on and puffed his chest like, we were the best offense in football. That depends on how you look at it. If you look at just points, like they were number 2. If you include the playoffs, they scored more than the Eagles. That's something he said that day. Baltimore's offense was like number 1 DVOA, number 1 in success rate, number 1 in a lot of different things. Like Baltimore's
EPA
offense,
Baltimore's
offense was absolutely wicked, and I worry about the competition. I worry about the way that these teams get after it and go after it, and can the Bills have enough premier players in the big spots to win? We went yesterday over there, the NFL's top 100. It's Josh. He doesn't have a Drysdale. Lamar has, you want to say it's Derrick Henry. Lamar has, you want to say it's Mark Andrews, who's been one of the best tight ends, but of course let them down in that moment. Lamar has Kyle Hamilton. Lamar has a number of these guys that are thought of is the key here, as premier players at their position. You want to do that with Mahomes? He's got them too. You want to do that with the Eagles? They've got 6 of them. 8 of them.
Yep.
And with the Bills, they have a great team, without a doubt. But do they have enough great players is the thing I wonder. And maybe this draft class produces some, or maybe a free agent kind of pops. But the thing I worry about with them is, do they have enough great players not named Josh Allen to lift them? And to a point, they have this organizational identity at the moment where it's all about how the sum of the parts and no one's really above anybody else except for the quarterback. The quarterback's the MVP. Mm-hmm. So that's my worry about them. I don't worry about any one position group, really. I don't worry about the receivers too much. I don't worry about their safeties too much. I would be happier if there was, a top 70 player in the NFL at one of those positions. So my answer is I worry about the competition, because I watch the other teams and see how they build. I watch how the Bills build. And I thought, like, coming into this offseason, we were going to be looking for a blue chipper. And an established one did not arrive. No. Maybe they find one. If they find one, bam, mission accomplished. If Max Hairston is that, then, zip my mouth shut. Like, mission accomplished. That's a long way to answer the question. Like, what worries you about the Bills? The competition.
Yeah. Well, the names also to mention for that probably aren't the rookies, right? They're the guys that are going into year 2, going into year 3, going into year 4.
Coleman.
That's why we bring up Coleman and Kincaid earlier.
Cole Bishop, Kincaid.
Sure.
Right. Somebody to become great.
Yeah. And maybe even a group of those. Like, imagine if Kincaid becomes like a top 5 tight end this year. Like, he's in all-pro conversations. Like, everything just works the way you want it to. Like, that'll make everyone feel more comfortable about certain situations, I think, late in games, playoff games. I might even narrow it more down to Baltimore specifically for me.
That's who you worry about?
Yeah. I'm not worried. Because there's not much I'm really worried about with the Bills. Not much. The Ravens, I just look at their roster, the way it's constructed. I look at the way Jackson has played for the last 2 years, and they were statistically I think most would agree that, like, dive into the numbers, that they were the best rush attack in NFL history last year, and their quarterback threw for 41 touchdowns on top of that, that I think they're a pretty flawless football team. But you got them to not play a clean game when you played them in the playoffs.
They had a rough
and the
day.
Bills played clean. And
The Bills played clean all year.
to their credit, right, they played clean all year. But I guess my biggest worry is that you meet that team again. I don't even really care where the game is. You play that team again, and either you don't play a completely clean game or they don't put the ball on the ground for you. And it's even. And it's just, nope, the turnovers aren't going to play a factor today. It's just going to be mano-a-mano, toe-to-toe. We're going at it, Bills and Ravens. And nobody's making big mistakes. It's just about how good are your players and how good are our players. And for that, I get a little bit worried. Kind of because of the point you made. Like, I think Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, are the two best quarterbacks in football right now, and I don't think much separates them at all. So then it becomes, all right, who else is making the biggest differences? And there's just a couple of guys on Baltimore that I would be worried about. Again, maybe you would say though that that's a faulty way of looking at this, because you're assuming the Ravens will be able to play as clean a game as the Bills do. And maybe I should give them more credit for that. Like they do play offense, at least they did last year, to play clean. Right? Like the way they threw the ball on screens, and they ran the ball more than they did before. Rather than just chucking the ball around downfield like they had done, that style is going to give you less turnovers, is going to give you less mistakes. But I still just think that's a tough thing to bank on year in and year out, is I'm going to play the clean game and they're not going to. Because that was the difference in the playoff game. There's the biggest difference in the playoff game. So that's really only true for me, though, of the Ravens. I do feel like the Bills, with any other team in this conference, and I even kind of feel this way about Kansas City right now, that they could just line up one-on-one, and I feel like they could win. They're the better team. But I'm really skeptical of that when it comes to Baltimore. I feel like you might have to have advantages. Yeah, might have to have just a little bit of luck on your side. Maybe you have to be at home to kind of get through them.
Maybe Joey Bosa can be,
he could be that player.
Could rediscover health.
Rediscover health.
That might be it.
Yeah.
803-0550. Training camp on July 23rd. Getting to it. A month and 4 days